An explosion. What's going on with XRP and the people who cover it? I mean, a lot of things are happening and emerging behind the scenes. The sun seems to be shining brightly right now because Justin, the Chinese company Weebis, formally submits a $300 million 0 cents XRP treasury management application to the SEC. Guys, what do we see here? There it is, correct, $300 million 0 cents. So, by the way, the amount of money that will be flowing in at some time very soon, not to mention the ETFs that are going online for XRP, it will be enormous. We have witnessed the events surrounding Bitcoin, correct? Because they aren't kidding around. It would simply push XRP to new heights, guys. However, since this has never happened before, it is significant information, all right? And this is only one piece of news among many. That's crazy. Guys, XRP, strategic reserve, isn't that correct? Consider this. Did we ever imagine that this would be feasible? We Plus International, a Chinese company that offers travelers all over the world individualized car and tour services, announced that it intends to seek up to $300 million 0 cents through non-equity funding in order to create an XRP reserve that will underpin its global driver payment network. Are we clear on what this implies now? It indicates that these individuals are indeed at their highest optimistic level. All right, visualize the state of MicroStrategy is really optimistic for Bitcoin enthusiasms. Thus, it's the same thing, right? Since this is a legitimate business, well, I have no idea who these individuals are, but that's what it looks like to me, isn't it? Particularly because they're collecting hundreds of millions of dollars for an XRP strategic reserve, aren't they, for their business? Yes, even if it's at its most bullish point, people continue to label it a hoax. Absurd. Along with on-chain booking and a few other features, the reserve is a part of a larger effort to incorporate XRP's cross-border settlement capabilities into Weebos's ecosystem. Well, folks, now this is fantastic material. Oh, and we also acquired other Saudi Arabian businesses. Intends to develop an XRP strategy worth $121 million 0 cents. Hold on a second. This is intriguing. Whoa. Thus, they're all... It's fascinating to embark on a jumping ship and dive straight into XRP. Have any of you realized that, in my opinion, especially because all of this is happening as the price of XRP is rising, you are aware that the price of XRP drops when there is beautiful, positive, and excellent news associated with it? We'll see if this has the opposite impact due to the nearly flat net flows of XRP. This is getting tired of selling, isn't it? Fascinating. You guys can notice the net outflows by looking at the red bars, right? The price of XRP has been repressed, particularly in comparison to Bitcoin, and it was really dramatic. But what if you guys see a pattern? It is returning to its neutral state. Yes, money begins to pour in when it does that. Do we not see? Quick speed time. What is seen here? The Dubai Financial Services Authority has recognized Ripple's Lux stablecoin as a recognized cryptocurrency token for usage in the Dubai International Financial Center, then DZ Bank, the second biggest bank in Germany, which serves more than 700 banks and manages assets worth hundreds of billions, launches Ripple Custodies, the entire sum. For $200 million 0 cents, Robinhood purchases Bitstamp, granting it access to more than 50 international cryptocurrency licenses. As we grow closer to the RealFi ecosystem's introduction and the locking of the $700 trillion 0 cents global real estate market on the additional P ledger, Ripple obtained a sizable staking Bitstamp back in May 2023. We are pleased to report that all additional P ledger stress testing was successfully completed. The additional P ledger can easily manage transaction volumes reaching $700 trillion, according to these thorough. Hey, folks. What's going on? Tokenizing real estate on the additional P ledger is the first step towards realizing this, I assure you. Trillions, why? Given that Saudi Arabia recently closed its first tokenized real estate transaction. Then on the XRP ledger, Societe Generale released their stablecoin, the Euro EU RCV, which they utilize for Ripple Custody. The BCB group also uses Ripple Custody Medico, thus Ripple Custody is gaining acceptance. And perhaps XRP is all assets. Medico is also on Ethereum and Solana, and today they signed an agreement with the BCB markets to distribute. Next, in Kazakhstan and within the digital asset revolution, tokenization saves currencies and XRP. The rate of adoption innovation is absolutely skyrocketing. Why has this happened at this particular moment? As Ripple Impact begins its 9th year, the company announced a 2024 report this year have now permanently deployed $200 million, 0 cents. In 2024, we continue to advance our commitments to meaningful finance, blockchain research, sustainability, and local communities, and we formed intriguing new relationships. The SEC and XRP proponent Ripple have decided that June 13th is a good day to purchase additional XRP. I'm not sure, gentlemen, but perhaps that's why we were spotted this using XRP. The quantity virtually exploded across the stratosphere. They let the bots loose. The buy bots, if you will, purchasing from all other nations and countries. All right, so that explains why XRP has been so optimistic. Will there be a dump? Very positive news. XRP typically dumps now. Discuss XRP for Bitcoin. Very much so. Are you bullish, guys? It's garnering, it is becoming more and more powerful in comparison to Bitcoin. What did we discuss earlier? We must be where we were last seen. I believe I'm here somewhere.
Yes.
Yes, just right here, exactly right here. All right, so the last time we were here, guys. All right, so I mentioned that we must surpass this level. We were turned down. All right, we returned to a rounded bottom of some kind. We retested it as support after we eventually pumped, and now we're here. It doesn't matter if we console and keep pushing higher or if we go back down to retest it like this, men. The important thing is that we maintain this level of support. I'll say it again, we must maintain this level of support. It's bad news for XRP if we drop below this level. If you haven't noticed, take a look right now. What has Bitcoin been doing? Bitcoin has essentially flattened out or consolidated XRP, correct? I find this to be somewhat bullish. An X pump would occur soon if they could only keep it at this area. Why? Because the XRP to Bitcoin ratio has been extremely optimistic. Even if Bitcoin does stomp, and this is really strong against it, it will still consolidate. So we need this to keep rising higher. Additionally, XRP will either hardly or not at all drop against USD. It might even pump us. XRP recently executed a textbook bounce off the 200 AMA, which is one of technical analysis' most potent bullish indicators. Once more, the charts are yelling bullish because of this. Okay, people, XRP is informing you about this. It is June 2nd today. Here, people simply appear to be really very pessimistic. All right, before things become too crazy, they always appear badly bearish. On the altcoin cheat sheet, or rather the crypto markets, I continue to think that we are in the midst of a bear trap. We're going down. Everyone believes, though perhaps not all, the vast majority of people believe that we are currently on the decline. I believe we are in a bear trap right here. While we do the ripski, while everyone else believes we're going down, it's called a bear trap. The next signal here, and I think altcoins are going to have a big summer. The last time we received this signal with the wave all the way down here was on April 9th, exactly here when we pulled back into that 200 EE. May, he thinks this is a bear trap for the bears, guys, because as you can see, if you had purchased that signal, you would have done so around 180 and it rose all the way to about 260. As a result, we are holding on to that 200-day moving average, which you can see as access support, and we are bouncing on it right now, June 2. What he displays on the indicator once more is a powerful pattern that has previously performed well. Each time it becomes this overextended. Here too, it did. We really did pump a lot. This is getting overdone, in my opinion, but I'm not jumping in at all, people. There is no point, right? I only see two levels and I support it if it occurs. If not, it isn't right. Even so, he's back here. Since the only 2 points I'm actually focusing on are below $2, I do think it was triggered for the next Fibonacci level, or right approximately here, and then $1.47, either of which will be the bottom just before. That's just my view, but it's the next to new all-time highs. However, it might take some time for it to descend there, isn't it right? Since it's clearly looking bullish right now, it should move down there. If it does, that level seems to me to have a lot of liquidity. I've discovered that market makers typically take a 9 out of 10. So will they accept that? The lone exception to their policy of not taking liquidity was, are we moving in the same way as XRP when it moves like this? We're not. Have any of you noticed the difference?